What's the problem? People don't do it. In other words, it's the doing it that's the problem. In other words, what I'm going to try to do this morning, gang, is teach you some systems, teach you some shortcuts to get to that ultimate goal faster. Ultimate goal being incomes being produced by something other than you. But the issue doesn't matter if you don't do it. Would you agree? And by the way, here's the bottom line of all this. I really don't care whether you invest in real estate or something else. Here's what I care about. If you don't invest, will there be a day in your life that you wished you did? Yes. That's the bottom line. Which now rolls me to point number 2. Point number 2 is a belief system that many people in our society have. And I want to see if any of you in this room perhaps have this belief system or have heard about it. So I'm now going to make a statement and ask you as a group to see if you can fill in the blank of the statement. This will tell me whether you've heard about it or perhaps believe it. It goes like this. A lot of people in our society believe that their way to make big money is you must start off with blank. Or it's been said, it takes blank to make blank. It takes money to make money. And before I'm done this morning, I'm going to prove to you that that is a false point. Number 2, remember, it doesn't always take money to make money. Oh, and by the way, as you're writing this down, does it help if you have money to start?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you agree there's a mass of people in our society that have this belief system that it takes money to make money?
Yes.
Do you agree there's a mass of people that are stopped from reaching their financial goals because of this belief system?
Yes.
In other words, they say to themselves, I don't have any money now, so I can't figure out how to get any money in the future. Isn't that right? All right, now, I have to be very careful showing you this is my second point. Here's why. The majority of you in this room I've never met before. Then I come in on your last day of course 3 after you've been through all this education, and the second thing that I say out of my mouth is that it does not take money to make money. And I know what's going on in some of your heads right now. Some of you right now, as you're looking at me, are equating me to late night cable television. Right, thinking I'm going to try to sell you some books and tapes and how you can become a zillionaire with no money, okay? That's not my concept. Here's my concept. A moment ago when I introduced myself, I told you my background. And one of the reasons I did that is because part of my background is I used to do financial planning. And when I did financial planning, it would always amaze me how many people I would run into where I'd talk to them about a financial plan and they'd say this to me. They'd say, Dave, I don't need a financial plan. And I'd say, why not? And they'd say, because unfortunately right now during my life, Dave, I'm working paycheck to paycheck. If I have any extra money at the end of the month, I use it for the luxuries of life. Get a burger, get a hot dog, things like that. And I had to submit something to them, and it's a critical point, and that's this. Gang, if you don't have any money or very little money at the end of your month, there's a reason for it. And the major reason is you never sat down in the beginning of the month and decided to have money at the end of the month. Now, I want to equate that to something in a second. If you don't have money whenever you reach that age that you don't want to work anymore, there's a reason for it. And the reason is you never sat down in the early part of your life and planned to have money towards the end of your life. Did you get that? Now, as boring as this sounds right now, I'm going to tell you this is the most critical part to people's financial success. And that is, you have to sit down and create some type of plan to make money. Because without one, where is your money probably going to go? Away. And by the way, I'm going to give you evidence of this. Wouldn't you say this is true, that most of us in this room, sometime during our life, we're going to get accidental surpluses of money? We're going to get a little refund check we didn't expect, or something's going to come to us that's kind of an accidental surplus. We didn't expect it. Would you agree? What does 9/10 of the American population do when they get an accidental surplus of money? They spend it. In fact, our economy bets on that. When they want to stimulate our economy, they say, let's give everybody a little refund check, because we know what they'll do with it. They'll go out and spend it, which will stimulate our economy. Isn't that true? That's because most Americans have no idea what to do with that money to make that money grow more money so they can have the lifestyle that they want. They'd rather spend it and have the appearances of wealth today than versus getting real wealth. Do you agree with this or disagree? Agree? Okay. So therefore, here's what I'm trying to tell you. The very first thing to get your financial life in order is you need to sit down and create a plan. Now, there's a problem with what I just said. Here's the problem that most people come up with. They say, yeah, but Dave, I don't know how to create a plan. Well, here's the solution. You don't need to know how to create a plan. You simply have to be observant of somebody else's plan that's working and steal theirs. By the way, think about what I just said. If I see somebody else's plan that's working, that's giving them success, does it make sense that if their plan works, and it should work for me? So you just need to find out somebody else's plan that's working, observe it, and do the same thing. And to prove this to you, before I'm done this morning, gang, I'm going to give all of you a very simplistic plan using real estate as a vehicle and how you can acquire an extra $1 million in your life. And by the way, the only reason I'm using an extra $1 million is because $1 million today is not all that much money, but it's a nice round number. If $1 million is not enough for you, you simply take the plan I'm about to present to you a little bit later and duplicate it times how many ever millions you want. And I'll show you that before I'm done. So if you don't want to create a plan, I'll give you one before I'm done this morning. You can just copy that plan, and that will get you there. All right, one more comment now. This says up on the screen here that it does not take money to make money. I have a question for you as a group. In today's society, to invest in anything, do you need money?
Yes.
Somebody.
I'll ask the question again because obviously most of us not have heard it. Let's try again. Ready? In today's society, to invest in anything, do you need money?
No.
The answer is yes. If you want to invest, you need money. Now, is that a contradiction to what that says? No. It's not a contradiction because most of you should know this. You need money to invest, but it does not have to be your money. In fact, isn't this a true statement? Listen carefully. All the money that you people have got in your life so far came from somebody else. Is that a true statement? If that's a true statement, then what skill do you need to learn how to master if you want more money in your life? It's simple. You need to learn how to get other people to give you more. Right? Now, as simple as I'm making this sound, here's what you need to understand. If money comes from other people and you don't have enough money in your life, that must mean that other people are not giving you money. And the reason they're not giving you money is because you're not providing them enough benefit or services to provide money to you. Does that make sense? So if you don't have enough money in your life, you don't look out there, you look at yourself and say, okay, how come I'm not getting very much money in my life? It's because you're not serving enough people. Because the money in your life is in direct proportion to the amount of other people that you serve by providing a benefit or a service to them. Does that make sense? And by the way, this is so simplistic, but I want you to understand something. I'm a landlord. If I want to give myself a raise, how do I do it? And by the way, it's not raise rents. Go buy another property. Got this? Because that other property, now I can serve somebody else by providing them housing. But watch this. This is the kicker to it. And this is what wipes out most people. If I go out and buy another property, I'm going to have a big giant loan on it. And yes, I'll be able to rent it out, but the rent's probably just going to be enough to cover the loan. Isn't that right? So I'm not getting a raise at that time. I'm going to have to wait probably a few years, maybe many years, maybe 10 or 15 years before I really get a raise, before that property's paid for, and now I get all that income. Isn't that true? So here's the big key. You need to understand that in most cases you have to sacrifice early profits to make massive profits at the end. And unfortunately, most Americans don't get that concept. They want the money now, so therefore they won't do things unless they get the money now. And by the way, let me show you the evidence of that. Most people in America, and I'm not knocking this, but most people in America serve one person. That's how they make their money. They serve one person. That person is their boss or company they work for. Is that right? Is their income limited because they only serve one person? Who determines their value or worth? That one person. Isn't that right? Now, indirectly, through that company, they serve others. But that person they work for that pays them is the one who determines their value. That's why their income is limited. It's limited, and the only way they can fix that is go find somebody else to serve, which means go get another job. Now they can serve two people, but they're still limited. So if you want to create massive wealth in your life, it's really simple. You have to figure out, how can I serve more people all the time? Because if I serve more people, that means I'm going to produce more income. That's it. That's the bottom line. Now, we're going to go more into this as we go throughout the morning, but I want to make one more comment before I go. You'll notice right here up on the screen, as I teach you this stuff, that I'm pretty passionate about what I teach you. It's because what I do on a day-to-day basis relates to this stuff. But I'm also smart enough to realize when I'm teaching 70 or 80 people like is in this room today, that some of you are not going to buy into my concepts this morning.